Hello and welcome back to The Beautiful Verdict. This is episode 2 and I'm your host Arthur. I want to start and kick off by saying thank you very much for listening to the last episode if you did. I really enjoyed and appreciate hearing your comments and feedback, and thank you very much for joining me today. In today's episode, I'm going to start off by talking about what's been happening in football recently before moving on to take you on a journey of the battles in football, the infamous battles as they've been branded, the Battle of Old Trafford and the Battle of Bramall Lane, before moving on to speak about some dirty tactics some teams have used over the years, before ending on my predictions for the upcoming week. So, what's been happening in football? Yesterday, Manchester United have unveiled their plans for a new 100,000 state-of-the-art stadium. I've seen the photos. I'm not a fan. I much prefer Old Trafford as it is now. I've been there a couple of times. I've done a tour even. I love the history. It's just, as a neutral, I love it. I believe most United fans will not want to leave there with the history that is there. But whatever Jim Ratcliffe says goes right now. It's going to cost £2 billion. It's going to estimated to inject £7.5 billion into the economy. The future of Old Trafford as it is unknown. Will they demolish it? Will they scale it back to be used by the academy and the women's team? Cost cutting from Jim Ratcliffe is looking like it's going to try and fund this. I know Man United are about £1 billion in debt at the minute. But yes, Ratcliffe's not a popular character in Manchester at the minute. Ticket prices with no concessions about £62 to £66, I believe, and there were protests outside Old Trafford at the weekend against Arsenal at the Glazers and Ratcliffe. He's cut team lunches at the training ground, I believe, in order to cost cut. But yeah, let's more on Old Trafford now. Let's go back to September 21st, 2003, which has been branded the Battle of Old Trafford in a match between Manchester United and Arsenal. So late in the game, Patrick Vieira clashed with Ruud van Nistelrooy, attempting to kick out at him after a challenge. Now, Vieira was already on a yellow card and was subsequently sent off after Van Nistelrooy's reaction. Exaggerated reaction, let's put it. This sparked an outrage amongst Arsenal players who believed that Van Nistelrooy dived and exaggerated his reaction to get Vieira sent off. Now, let's cut to stoppage time. Man United were awarded a penalty after Martin Keown fouled Diego Forlan in the box. And who stepped up to take the penalty? None other than Van Nistelrooy. He stepped up but smashed the penalty off the crossbar and missed the chance to win the game. That was one of the last kicks of the game. Now, after the final whistle, this is where chaos ensued, and the Arsenal players surrounded and attacked Van Nistelrooy, is what the research here says, believing he had cheated to get Vieira sent off. Martin Keown infamously jumped on Van Nistelrooy's back, hitting him in the head. I've actually got a framed photo of this on my wall. So, sorry, United fans. Yeah, I've got. He's actually signed it. I've got a signed photo of this on my wall. Lauren, Ray Parlour, and Ashley Cole also shoved and taunted him. I think Ray Parlour actually dug him in the ribs. I don't condone any of this, of course, but it does make grey watching. This resulted in fines and bans for several Arsenal players. Arsenal were fined £175,000, the biggest fine given to an English club at the time, and all 4 players received match bans. Lauren got 4 match ban, Keown 3, Parlour 2, and Ashley Cole 1. For those that don't know, Arsenal then went on to win the league this season, unbeaten. So if they had lost, if Van Nistelrooy put that away, there would be no Invincibles. So it just makes this clash even more of an infamous moment between Manchester United and Arsenal. It was a year later, actually, that Manchester United ended Arsenal's 49 unbeaten run, and that was at Old Trafford, and yeah, that's a story for another day. But one of the many heated encounters between Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger ended in the Battle of Old Trafford, as it's been branded. Now, speaking of battles, let's go back to a year earlier, the only time that chaos overshadowed a match. The only Premier League match ever to be abandoned due to a lack of players, and that's the Battle of Bramall Lane in 2002. On March the 16th, 2002 at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United faced West Bromwich Albion in a match that would infamously become known as the Battle of Bramall Lane. The chaos began early when Sheffield United goalkeeper Simon Tracy was sent off just 9 minutes into the match for handling the ball outside his area. Manager Neil Warnock was forced to substitute an outfield player to bring on the reserve goalkeeper. West Brom capitalised on the numerical advantage they had with Scott Dobie opening the scoring, 1-0 West Brom. Now, second half, tensions escalated dramatically. Neil Warnock introduced Georges Santos and Patrick Sufo, both of whom were promptly involved in violent incidents. Santos sent off for a reckless challenge on Andy Johnson, a player with whom he had had a previous altercation with in a previous match, resulting in a fractured eye socket. Moments later, Sufo received his marching orders for headbutting another opponent. With Sheffield United reduced to 8 men now, the situation worsened as 2 players left the field claiming injuries, leaving Sheffield United with only 6 players. Now, according to the rules, a match cannot continue if a team has fewer than 7 players on the field. So consequently, the referee had no choice but to abandon the match, awarding a 3-0 victory. Well, it was abandoned. The aftermath was tumultuous, with West Brom's manager Gary Megson. He accused Neil Warnock of orchestrating the chaos to have the match abandoned, a claim which Warnock absolutely strenuously denied. The Football Association subsequently launched an investigation, and it resulted in fines and suspensions for several Sheffield United players, and they did give the win to West Brom. It's Neil Warnock's one of the managers I've looked up to over the years, and it does obviously it cannot be condoned, but it's very interesting, and I urge you to go and watch the clip back. Yeah, fantastic watch that. And one of the only match ever to be abandoned because of a lack of players in the Premier League. So, bit of dirty tactics there from Warnock, allegedly. And speaking of dirty tactics, let's see what some teams have done in a quick-fire dirty tactics round. So it's no secret that home teams have done and do everything possible to unsettle their opponents even before a ball is kicked. Some managers have deliberately sabotaged away dressing rooms to put the visiting teams at a psychological disadvantage. So here are some of the most notorious examples, starting with Newcastle United's Spartan away dressing room. St James's Park away dressing room has been compared to a prison cell, deliberately made small, uncomfortable and uninspiring, and opposing teams have often complained it's one of the worst in the league. Secondly, Arsenal's obstructive dressing room design, and I can vouch for this. I've done the tour. I don't think we can see the away dressing room anymore, but I remember a couple of years back I did it. At the Emirates, the away dressing room features a central table that's deliberately, it's really high. It's positioned at a height that it would obstruct the manager's view of his team. The idea is to make pre-match tactics and discussions awkward and disjointed. A note on Arsenal: Arsene Wenger famously brought the horseshoe design from Japan, and that's why the Emirates, most change rooms now are a horseshoe design, meant to bring good luck and how you can see all your players. The huge contrast between the home and away dressing room at the Emirates is fantastic to look at. It's it really does make it, I can imagine a visit there not comfortable. Norwich City's pink wall experiment. So in 2018, Norwich painted the entire away dressing room pink, believing that the colour would reduce testosterone levels and lower aggression in visiting players. I think that's one of the most interesting things, like really psychologically trying to tamper with the players there. Chelsea Stamford Bridge's away dressing room was so cramped that teams such as Liverpool and Brighton complained about players barely having any space to sit. After years of complaints, Chelsea finally expanded it in 2022, but only slightly. Stoke City now, psychological warning. They were allegedly the master of mind games. They famously placed a framed picture of a stretcher in the away dressing room alongside a sign that read, "Don't go off in one of these." A reminder to visiting teams that the Britannia Stadium was no place for the weak. So, some interesting ones there. And I hope you enjoyed listening to these. Let's move on to my predictions now for the upcoming weekend. So, coming up this weekend in the Premier League, the Seagulls, Brighton, face a trip up to the Etihad Stadium to face Manchester City. I do believe Man City will bounce back from their defeat at Forest last weekend. I'm going to back them for a 2-0 home win there. The pressure's on them if they want their Champions League spot with Chelsea ahead of them now. I'm going to go for a 2-0 City win there. Now, moving on to Sunday afternoon, will the St Patrick's Day luck fare for Arsenal in their match against Chelsea? One that I will be in attendance for. I'm hoping that Arsenal will get 3 points there. I believe the league is gone now to Liverpool, but we've still got to finish strong. Not Forest to breathing down our neck. So I'm going to back us for a 1-0 win against Chelsea. Fulham-Tottenham, I can't really call that. I don't like to give Tottenham the win, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. That's so unpredictable. Tottenham are a very unpredictable team at the minute. Leicester Man United, interesting. Mate, they've got to win, United. They've got to. They're sitting 14th now, I believe. 2-1 United. And the League Cup final, Liverpool-Newcastle, 4:30 on Sunday evening. Liverpool exited the Champions League last night against PSG on penalties, so they'll want to bounce back, but I can't see this being an easy one. Eddie Howe's team are a tough team to play. I'm going to go for a Liverpool win. I don't know how, but I believe it won't be in 90 minutes. Let's put it that way. And that will conclude today's episode. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the different approach I took and the stories I told, and let's see how my predictions fare this weekend in the Premier League. Thank you again for listening. See you next time.